Well, figured I'd do a little quickie update. So, you want to see what destroying about $200, $250, whatever the hell I paid for this intercooler looks like. Take that there bandsaw and you just hack and slash them right on off of there. So yeah, that was a little scary. It's decently made, pretty thick, but they're cast and that doesn't look good. But yeah, I don't really care for cast. But anyways, so I broke out the old homemade brake tool. I didn't realize back when I made it, a little bit of a step here. So it throws off and makes it kind of round off the corner. It's not a tight bend. So I'm probably gonna come back and weld a little thin sheet of metal or thin gauge on this little section just to step it up a little bit. I think it'll break better. Until I can actually buy a high quality brake way down the road if I ever get room with enough shop, you know, like my ghetto reinforcements. Yeah, it was a quickie throw together thing whenever I made. Well, actually I already chopped up the flange, but I was trying to make a flange for a fuel pump, if anyone remembers. Actually, that's what I've been practicing aluminum welding on, and I've since hacked it up and used it for a couple of things, but this was it. Yeah, there's my practice aluminum welds. I didn't clean this piece any, by the way, whenever I welded, so that's why they look like a whole bunch of trashes in them, because there is a whole lot of trash in them. Yeah, this was the piece that I bent before. Anyways, so enough about that. This is the progress I've made. I went and picked up that sheet of aluminum right there next to that box. So just a 4x4 half sheet. I don't remember if I had this stuff hooked up when I made the video, but anyways, I got this line made. This is the number or -8 AC line. It comes to right here. And I did, in case anyone was curious, originally I had my AC compressor clocked 90, so these fittings were out the side. And I decided against that after I did some research and found out that this little oil fill nut and the fittings or whatever should be faced up for proper oiling. But actually, after seeing several pictures of other people with CVF compressors with them mounted exactly how I was going to, I called them and they said you can actually mount it 90 degrees left or right. You just can't mount it upside down. 90 left or right will in fact not break it according to them. But after running this intake pipe the way I did, I think it actually works out better with them on top. It doesn't look as clean, but I don't have the proper fittings to do them out the side. If I did them out the side, they would actually probably hit this intake pipe here. So I'm not doing that. Anyways, so one of the things I chopped up that flange I originally did bending for was this. I made this with it, with some leftover scrap of that. And all it is just some drill holes to mount the top, using the upper mounts, and drilled 3 breather holes. I think that was on there for the last video. But what I did with the sheet metal is I plasma cut out some pieces after I made a paper template. Well, actually I made a cardboard template first for like a tank design. Yeah, something like that. Then I took paper to figure out what I needed to do for bending this so I wouldn't have to weld so much. And cut it all, or got the template marked off in the aluminum, plasma cut it out, and I went oversized with it. And that was because you can always remove material. It's really hard to add material back. At least it's not as clean. So there's a little bit of the lip from the old cast tank I left on there because honestly I didn't want to cut into the cores. I don't trust my freehand bandsaw cutting. So I left a little bit of the lip, went back, grounded the welds down a little bit, ground it down to where they're fairly smooth, flat. Bent this up and they're actually a little bit oversized. I'm probably gonna come back and trim away about 1/8 of an inch all the way down this tank side. And that's because this bottom, I don't know if you can tell, but it overlaps a little bit. And the top, well, the top sits decent, but the bottom overlaps and is damn close to this bumper support. So that will, that little bitty bit will shrink down the top and bottom to where they'll come a little lower and they'll fit up to this core better. And it'll also move it inward so it'll free up some gap there. Same thing on this side. This one's way worse because that one I actually bent. You can see where I went back and redid my lines for my brake. Actually broke this one a little bit tighter. This one overhangs a lot. Same at the bottom. Same on the back. It actually is hanging off the backside. So what I'm gonna do is the same thing. I'm gonna trim away, you know, an 1/8 inch along this, move it in, because it's like resting on this bumper support or bumper bracket. So I'm gonna do that, but I don't think I'm gonna do it today because it's like 7:30 now, and I've been out here for a while. I'm kind of getting to that point where I'm tired of messing with it, and I really need to cut my grass, but I don't think I'm gonna do that today. But you can see I 90'd my turbo inlet, and this is just kind of templated up. And you can see it's gonna come out pretty decent for that hole. Same thing over here. This obviously isn't long enough, or it's gonna get changed out for that one that's got paper towel on it there. I'll cut it down to the right size. But yeah, it's gonna come through. Probably gonna do a couple. I'm gonna put inlets on both of these that'll feed back, and they'll come out to right about here. So that way I can put a coupler right in this little cubby. It'll be tucked away nicely, and this will join right there. Yeah, so I never got some clarity on whether or not putting these breathers in the back is gonna be an issue. We're just gonna do it and see what happens. I did price the Winchester Metalworks valve covers that are fabricated. They're like $375. I think that's for them plain. I'm gonna have them weld on some AN fittings, so I don't know how much cost that's gonna add, probably another 50 bucks. But I'm gonna have to talk to him and ask, and send him a picture, I guess, of how this valve cover sits and see what he suggests. Cause I don't really wanna do a front AN fitting here, like some cars do, cause I like my spark plug route, wire management. And I think it was Cobra that asked me about these. The Winchester Metalworks valve covers, I think, use short bolts on the exhaust sides. So this one actually might be a tall one here on this front, but all the other ones are gonna be short. So I think it's, what is it, 3 down on the front? I don't even know. Maybe see from this side. Yeah, 3 on the exhaust side. So 3 on the exhaust side are short for sure. I think all of the intake ones are tall ones, so I won't actually be able to use this one, I don't think, which sucks. But I do have some of those left over, so if you can make do with some of them, maybe, I'll let you know. I'll have to dig them up and see where I've got them, but I might not be able to use these 4 ones, so if you want those. All right, I'm actually waiting on one more fitting. I need a 45-degree number 10 to do this line. That's ordered, it'll show Tuesday. Once I get that, I can finish that up. Hopefully I'll be able to come out here. This piece here is gonna be one smooth bend. I'm gonna get this fitted first, and then I'll come back and I'll do a paper template and mark it to where it'll weld here, it'll weld along this seam, and it'll bend and weld along this back seam. So I'll do another cutout for that section after I get done fitting these. And that should be it for this. I'll be able to fire this thing up again, just maybe. So yeah, that's the progress on it. And I'll come back whenever I get some more work done on it. Take it easy, guys. Thanks for watching.